Lou Diamond's music.
I'll give you blocks. You want points? I'll give you points. You want defense? I'll give you that. You want leadership? You want inspiration? I'll give it all to you. The team allows it all. He was Portland's worst nightmare. 46-point apple in Houston with an MVP. And giving him this epic playoff victory. Even when rejected, the Knicks beat the Nets of the Charles Irving on plus on the Chicago. Started taking the world minutes straight over the game that only less than 10 years. Now the sunshine of another Phoenix sewer as Kevin Johnson's 38 awards. Phoenix series won the Union score and Google goes down to the action. Now that was energy improved last series into a house rule.
Another playoff doubleheader on TNT. Shaq and the Magic have come close, but Larry Brown's Pacers are up 2-zip. Orlando falling by 1 and by 2. Now Indiana heads for home, thinking sweep. That same idea has no doubt crossed the playoffs as torture. Then there's no word to describe 2 nights with me here. 2 series could end tonight, and the Pacers and Sonics look for the clincher. First stop, Market Square Arena. Vern Lundquist and Hubie Brown have the call as Shaq and the Magic take on Reggie Miller and the Pacers next on TNT.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light, by the Chrysler Corporation and its divisions, by AT&T, the official telecommunications company of the NBA, and by wrinkle-free 100% cotton Dockers for times when just getting dressed isn't enough.
Market Square Arena in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Filled to capacity tonight, 16,562 for Game 3 of the NBA East first round playoffs. The Orlando Magic against the Indiana Pacers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, and welcome to Indianapolis for what could be one of the more significant nights in the history of this franchise. Since they joined the NBA in the late 70s, they have qualified for the first round of the playoffs prior to this year 6 times, and not once, never before have the Pacers gotten to the second round. They came close in 1991, following the Boston 3-2. Well, Hubie Brown, they're up 2-0. They have a chance to cinch it tonight, but it's been a tough sell for them.
Well, it has been a great series, Vern, and you have to look at it and say this. Game 1 by 1 point, game 2 by 2 points. The guy who has stepped up and has played big like an all-star, Reggie Miller. Look at his numbers, 28 points, 51% shooting, 37% three-point shooting, and 92% on the line. That's all-star, big-time numbers.
The Orlando Magic had the first 2 games at home. They were favored in each. This has been a very, very closely contested series so far.
Well, we said you're only talking about 3 points, and when you look at it here, you can see 94 to 96. The field goal percentages are down, and the reason being the blocks. We are seeing ferocious shot blocking. 10 a game by Orlando, 6 by the Pacers. The key, anytime you lose close ball games, it's always at the foul line. 68% for the Magic, and then a very quality 79% for Indiana.
Among those who have missed at the free throw line, Shaquille O'Neal, he'll be 9 of 18 in game 2. Has he been a disappointment so far?
No, I think you have to look at it this way, Vern. 4-game series, he averaged 37 points against single coverage. That's man-to-man. In this series, he's being double-teamed hard by the big forwards, Dale and Antonio Davis. What's happening is only 14 shot attempts per game. That's a big drop-off of 6 from the regular season. He's kicking the ball out, and they're playing a lot of perimeter basketball. You have to remember, he's still getting 13 rebounds a game and 5 blocks. The man is working.
Game 3 of the NBA first round. The Orlando Magic come here to take on the Indiana Pacers. We'll return with the starting lineups from Market Square Arena right after this message.
6-7 running it on from UC.
Back for game 3 at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. Only the 7th sellout of the season. Here are the Chrysler Plymouth starting matchups, Hubie.
Now you can see the second man down. Kristowiak will play Rik Smits at 7'4". O'Neal will match up with Dale Davis. At the other side, Reggie Miller down here will match up with Scott at the small forward. McKee in return will come down and play Nick Anderson.
Somewhere in that pile of bodies, Brian Hill in his first year as head coach of the Magic, and they got to the 50-win plateau. And Larry Brown, a career playoff record of 21 and 26. He's familiar with losing in the first round of the NBA playoffs, having lost the last 3.
Are you ready?
Well, it has taken on a party atmosphere here, Hubie.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Vern, there is a lot of pressure on the team and on Larry Brown. Like we said, the toughest thing is to close out a series when you have a young basketball team. And that's what they have here. And this being an old ABA town that won 3 championships, the people were spoiled when they came into this league. And they had to come into the league without George McGinnis, one of the true superstars of the old ABA. So they have never really had the great success, and they're feeling this is their time to make the move, and they don't want to do it in 4 or 5.
The last time the Pacers won a first-round series in professional basketball, 19 years ago in the ABA, they defeated San Antonio in 6 games. Then they defeated a Denver team coached by Larry Brown. And in the finals of that season in the NBA, they lost to a Kentucky team coached by another Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Vern.
Hubie Brown.
Stroking me before we get started. Not bad.
Ed Rush, Tommy Nunez, and Ron Gerritsen are the officials. Larry Kristowiak has it for the Magic, gives it off to Nick Anderson.
The big thing in the Orlando attack has been the fact that they're averaging 18 3-point shots per game, and that's because of the tough double teaming down inside on Shaq Penny.
Shaquille kicks it back out. There's the try for 3. And the rebound, Rik Smits of Indiana.
Well, Indiana, they're looking for Rik Smits and Derek McKee to get going at the offensive end. They say Reggie Miller is a given.
Here's McKee, kicks it back outside. Workman for 3. Rims out. O'Neal has the rebound.
When you're on the road, young basketball team, you must get some easy shots. Oh, bad pass. Bad decision. And I'll tell you why, Vern. Up in the left-hand corner, Kristowiak was by himself. Scott looked him off. You can see it. There's a player in the left-hand corner. He's wide open. Scott looks him off and makes a cross-court pass. You can never do that. The distance was too far.
After the foul, Indiana takes it out of bounds. Haywood Workman, the point guard, has had shooting problems, but he's been terrific at the other end. And here's another shot that rims out. O'Neal grabs it. No score, opening minute and 10 seconds. Game 3. These two teams in the regular season series split 2 games each. And in the 2 games played here, both won by Indiana, Shaquille O'Neal had 85 points. Scott. Nope. O'Neal traps it down. That's his 3rd rebound already. And Scott loses control. Reggie Miller blows by Anderson, takes a hard foul, and then has a few words.
Well, first of all, Reggie Miller just put on a clinic by coming down the floor and running a hesitation dribble, getting the defender to level off, and just blew by. Now, you know, in this game and in any other game, you're down 0-2. Every foul's going to be a hard foul. Reggie Miller knew it. He looked at him and then walked right back to the foul line. Reggie understands they need him if they're going to win this ball game.
It is said that in one of the games in Orlando, he was fouled by Shaquille O'Neal. Looked at Shaq and said, "Harder, Shaq, harder."
Well, you know, during the season, Reggie a 91% foul shooter, and in the playoffs, 92.
Let's just go back a year ago. Indiana, they play the New York Knicks. The Knicks take them out in the series. Reggie Miller averaged 31 points, went to the foul line, 11 foul shot attempts per game. This guy, the bigger the game, more the pressure, he excels.
Gets the first 2 of this game.
Oh, this is new now. This is new.
There's the steal. Dale Davis.
She has an offensive foul on Hardaway. He came in and he just pushed Reggie Miller off him. See, I like this. This is smart, aggressive, a big surprise. Larry Brown coming out full court.
Another near steal. Shaquille O'Neal gets the basket and is fouled.
Good call by Eddie Rush. He was double teamed. The double team came from the top. He got hit right across the head. Now just watch as the double teamer comes in here. He makes his move. Dale comes right up, see, but he gets him right on top of the head as he tried to get the shot blocked. Remember what I told you, every shot will be contested here. One team with 10 blocks, the other team with right at 7.
O'Neal, who has struggled all season at the foul line, gets the free throw, and it's 4-3 Indiana. Will inbound for Indiana. Miller.
See, anytime a guy is on a roll, you cannot give him that shot. He's a three-point, what we would call an expert with a master's degree. And the big thing with him is you must force him to put the ball on the floor where you can get a little help.
Anderson backs in on Miller. Has it taken away by Reggie Miller. Hardaway gets it back. What a defensive gem by Penny Hardaway.
A terrific steal by Hardaway. He was in the top 6 in the league in that category. You know, he's deceiving, Vern. He's a legit 6'7" with the long arms.
7-5 Indiana with an early lead. McKee has had scoring problems in the first 2 games. That man hasn't.
Well, they run staggered screens for him on the left side of the floor, and he loves coming off in that area.
And there wasn't much doubt about what was going to happen there.
In game 1 that you and I had an opportunity to do, we said the main thing in this game is transition defense. When you score, you better get back quickly.
Remember back to game 1, which was last Thursday night in Orlando. Here's Workman. Nice dish to Smits, and he is fouled. In that game, the Magic was up by 17 points in the first half. And at halftime of that game, Reggie Miller had only 6 points.
That's right. And very few attempts. He was 3 for 5.
Things have completely turned around since then.
Well, see, in game 1, Rik Smits got off to a terrific half. He had 16 points. Then he's kind of like disappeared. And the reason is they do a lot of motion. They do an awful lot of screening and then moving away from the ball. Now, Larry Brown would like Rick to stay in low, post up as much as possible, because he is a consistent 52-54% shooter.
That's 1 of 2, and it's 10-7 Indiana with 8:27 to go first quarter of play. Hardaway.
Workman's job. Stay in front of Hardaway and try to eliminate the dribble penetration.
There's the triple team on O'Neal.
Nice ball movement.
From the corner for 3.
You like that movement, Vern, because 2 guys could have forced up the shot. They made the 3rd play.
10-10. Dale Davis.
No way can Krzyzewski play 7'4" Smits down inside.
Well, Larry Brown said that's one thing. Smits has begun to believe he's a jump shooter, and they need to get him in that low post. He's really struggling offensively in the last game and a half.
Now, this young man who stepped into the foul line is having a terrific series. Now, a few years back, 34 games he started for Washington. And after that, he kind of drifted out of the league, played overseas in Italy. last year. In this series right now, you're happy for him because he's averaging 11.5 points, 10.5 assists, and then how about 4 steals, 9 for 9 on the foul line. But he will turn it over a few times. It gets you a little nervous, Larry says.
Right.
But not bad for a guy who was not on your roster a year ago.
Brought into training camp back in the fall by Larry Brown. 2 fouls on Hardaway in the early going. Here's Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, good pass. Krystkowiak gets 2.
Krystkowiak will always dive to the front of the rim, and he will take the hitting down inside. But their main concern is limit the shot attempts by the Shaq man.
There's Smits with the jumper.
Got it. He hits that one. He hits that one regularly. During the course of the year, he averaged 13 points, but he only played limited minutes because he has a very bad case of tendonitis in both knees.
Now Smits on O'Neal. Long shot, no good. Rebound. Hardaway, that's the 3. Dale Davis gets the rebound.
Excellent defense by Anderson.
Smits, nice pass. Oh, and it slipped out of Davis's hand. Traveling call.
They're calling. The shot was taken. Eddie Rush is saying no contact on the ball, and he re-caught his ball and then shot it again. Travel.
6 minutes and 43 seconds remaining. First quarter. Time has been called.
What time is it?
It's time to get physical. San Antonio takes it to Utah. Spurs Jazz tomorrow at 10:30.
But first,
Playoff intensity runs wild in Miami. Hawks Heat tomorrow at 8 Eastern on
TNT.
6:43 remaining. First quarter of play.
We're going to show you down inside. Coming out to the left of your screen, Reggie's going to have a stagger by the center and then by the big forward, and then you're going to see him. Now, that is a tough cover. Anytime that you take a guy off the staggered screen, if you follow on the first screen and you shoot the gap on the second, you'll force him to fade away. Now, the problem with that is that Reggie Miller is such a great three-point shooter that Anderson is following in the early going. Let's see if he changes up as the game moves on.
Here's Penny Hardaway, guarded by Workman again.
Good switch.
Anderson.
See McKee, excellent defensive player for a dribbler.
And the switch, McKee on Hardaway.
Oh!
Hello.
Yes! Oh, yes! Now, come on, even the people in this building were impressed with that one. Come on! Oh!
I believe so. 14-14. O'Neal, who had a career low 15 points in game 2. 3 of 8 from the field in that second game. Miller. Nice. Smits. Sure was.
Anytime you're going to trap Reggie Miller and if Smits is the screener, you have a major problem. He is an outstanding 18 to 20-foot face-the-basket jump shooter.
Smits 4 of 17 in the last game and a half after that 16-point first half down in Orlando in game 1. Here's Krystkowiak with a rebound.
Now, we have 2 teams here who are excellent in offensive rebounding.
That's for 3. Dennis Scott.
Now that baby was from way downtown. Now in the series, he's now 8 for 17. So he's right around that 50% mark, a shade below.
Magic lead by 1. Here's McKee. Oh, what a no-look pass. Dale Davis.
How about that for court awareness? He knew that he was double-teamed with a big man from the other side, just threw that blind over the head.
Derek McKee with a highlight play. Nick Anderson, that rims out. Workman touched it last. It'll be Orlando ball.
I'm Larry Brown right now. I'm very concerned about our defensive rebounding. Now, in this series, Orlando's averaging right at 15 a game. Now, I know that, you know, Indiana's averaging 17 offensive rebounds, but right now they are getting killed on the glass.
Here's Smits. He gets it. Reggie Miller has it for the Pacers. Smits. Nope. Kristoviak for Orlando. 18-17 Indiana leads it. 4:25 to go, first quarter of play. Hardaway.
Well, if I'm Hardaway, I'd have been upset on that one because he was definitely hit in the right shoulder as he dipped right through to get that shot off.
Smits, the double from Hardaway. That leaves Workman open.
Well, that's been the strategy in games 1 and 2. Leave Hayward work and allow a guy with long arms to be the double teamer. And what you're seeing is that Workman will get quite a few shots 15 to 17 feet from the basket.
Shaquille backs in, has it taken away, stripped by Dale Davis. Here's Derek McKee.
I see Brian Hill is questioning on the sideline. Why can't we get a foul shot? And I agree. The last 2 times down the floor, both guys have been hit pretty good.
McKee takes it strong. Dale Davis will shoot 2.
Well, see, that's frustration. Scott just took a hard foul there right now. Now, on the initial move, you either had a charge or a foul. We didn't get anything. So you say, well, what do you do as a coach? Well, you tell your guys right now, the tempo has been set by the referees. This is playoff time. You now have to adjust to these 3 referees. We have not seen these guys in games 1 or 2. So now, stop crying, okay? Just adjust and play big. That's why the playoffs are another step up. You know, you can't give us your same game that you gave us for 82 days. You now got to adjust. You have to be mentally alert now, and then also physically, you must be able to take the duress that other team is going to hand out.
First 2 substitutions made by Larry Brown. Vern Fleming, who was injured in a collision with Shaquille O'Neal here in regular season, and Antonio Davis both enter the fray. Smits and Workman are out for Indiana. 20-17, 3:22 to go, first quarter. There's the double team on Dennis Scott. Has it taken away. Reggie Miller. That's a lucky break. That's a fortunate bounce.
A great catch by Dale Davis, and then he'll send it home. He's shooting 67%, but Dale Davis and Antonio Davis never take shots outside of their range.
Biggest lead in the first quarter now. 22-17, nearing the 2:45 mark. O'Neal.
I'll tell you, the big fella is working right now. I mean, that was a quick and powerful spin move. He was determined to score. In the early going, very disappointed in the big-time turnovers by Orlando. We're going to show you the defensive play right down inside. The big fella, quick move, nice spin, beats the 2 defenders, and then the movement. Took the foul and then sent it home. He's just exasperated. Now you can see right now in the 3-point shooting during the regular season, almost 14 a game. Game 1, 17. Game 2, 19. Now look at the Shaq man. Field goal attempts, 19 a game. 20 in game 1, only 8 in game 2. Foul shot attempts, you can see the 6 and the 18. Unfortunately, before tonight, you know, he's only 11 for 24. And when you lose games by 1 and by 2, it's a major factor.
He'll shoot a free throw now with 2:44 to go in the first quarter of play.
You know, he's off now. I like what he's doing. It looks like he's very relaxed. To give you a little strategy, in the first 15 times down the floor, Shaquille O'Neal has caught the ball 11 times. I think they're trying to get that 8 off the schneid there.
Right. Chases that one down. Nick Anderson has it, puts it up and in.
I like their effort. Their intensity level is good. Your story, stay close in the first quarter, be close at halftime, and then your guys will play with a lot of confidence in the second half. And I'm glad to see Scott Skiles in the game right now.
Scott Skiles did not play in game 2, coach's decision, and he was quite frustrated by that lack of activity. Here's Scott Skiles. He gave way to the point guard spot to Penny Hardaway back on February 6th. O'Neal. Nope. Rebound, Antonio Davis.
2 minutes to run.
Miller. Got it.
Reggie Miller reads picks as well as anyone, whether he has the basketball or not. They were looking for a trap by the Shaq man that time, and he was too loose. That gave Reggie the room to hit the shot.
There's a double on Skiles. Antonio Davis. Foul.
The referees cannot allow the people to enter into this game this evening, okay? That was a foul. That was a hard double team, which you're looking for. You are at home, and you put the double team on there, just like you're at home. That's why you're pressing full court. You're playing against a team that is averaging 17 turnovers a game in this series.
To O'Neal, the double from Sam Mitchell, who had entered the lineup for Indiana, and he's got the ball now.
Yeah, now Christoia, he must make that shot. So he's got to send that one home with more power.
24-20, the lead is 4. Here's O'Neal. McKee goes by O'Neal.
Well, Shaq is just trying not to pick up a senseless foul.
Right.
Now, the people here are all excited because McKee is not taking the shots. They want him to become more active. There, how about that? Come on now. Oh, my. A second. He's home.
That's in the "you're kidding me" category.
Oh, come on, Scott. Plymouth High School, Indiana. He's an old Indiana player. Just watch this move. A heady move, took the hit, just throws it up and gets the score. And Scotty, when he was in high school, Plymouth High School, little town, they won the entire state championship here in Indiana, and you're happy for him. He only scored 37 points in the final game. He's a feisty guy. He is the only player remaining from the expansion draft.
Here's McKee. O'Neal kicks it out to Miller on the line. And substitution now. Anthony Avent will come in and give Shaquille O'Neal a breather. Avent had a big first half in Game 2 Saturday in Orlando. Didn't play in Game 1. Final 40 seconds coming up now. Christoia.
He's a veteran player. He's been in many a playoff game at Milwaukee and again in Utah. So you must guard him. He's missed quite a few games this year, during the course of the season because of problems with his feet.
Fleming is open, takes it all the way and puts it in.
Burns a big-time scorer. For many years, he was always up there in the high teens. Throughout his career, he averaged right about 13, 14 points. And the big factor, in 10 years in this league, he shot over 50% 7 times for a guard. That's hard to do.
Double on Skiles. Here's Fleming. No foul called, but Indiana will inbound it with 0.6 seconds remaining first quarter.
Well, you see, if you double team hard and you make a strip and you have body contact, well, then you must take the strip at the other end of the floor. We can't have it just one way.
Alley-oop. No. Reggie Miller, 9 points in the first quarter of play. Indiana up by 3. Back with quarter number 2 right after this.
It's time to get physical. San Antonio takes it to Utah. Spurs Jazz tomorrow at 10:30.
But first,
playoff intensity runs wild in Miami. Hawks Heat tomorrow at 8 Eastern on
TNT.
Downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, location of Market Square Arena, filled tonight for Game 3 of the first round of the playoffs. And the Pacers are up by 3. Vern Lundquist and Hubie Brown here at Market Square.
Well, Vern, I think we have to be impressed at the end of that first quarter. The Pacers already have 4 shot blocks, 2 by Dale Davis, and then they have 6 offensive rebounds, which have given them 8 second chance points. Indiana, no points on the glass.
Here's Vern Fleming, Antonio Davis, Smits, McKee, and Reggie Miller on the floor now for the Indiana Pacers. Scott Skiles. Remember, Penny Hardaway has 2 fouls, so Skiles still on the floor. Here's Fleming. Takes the jumper over Skiles and lands it.
Vern Fleming, 6'4". He's always been a scorer. Good ball handler. They had to play him on the point here for some years. And I'm happy he's back because he took 14 stitches in the mouth. He lost 2 teeth, and then he had an incredible gash right underneath his right kneecap.
That was in a collision with Shaquille O'Neal, and Larry Brown was recalling it today. Here's the 3. Nope. Larry Brown said, can you imagine? There was no foul call. Skiles. Stripped by McKee. Indiana ball.
Orlando, that was their 7th offensive rebound. I tell you, you got to be a man to score here tonight if you want to get in the paint. There could be a few guys in this building who are yelling about no fouls and that would be shooting rainbow jump shots.
30-25. He looks for Smits. Settles for Antonio Davis. He cans the baseline jumper. And then whispers sweet nothings in the ear of Brian Hill as he goes by.
Yeah, well, he's playing great basketball. 20 minutes a game. He's averaging 8.5 points.
Largest lead of the game now. Here's O'Neal. Antonio Davis with the rebound. Vern Fleming at the other end will come back and set it up. Fleming. And he knew O'Neal was there. Scott for 3.
That's always in their arsenal. Before game 1, Larry Brown, our biggest thing is transition defense, awareness, and then get to the 3-point shooters, because Anderson and Scott will just spot up out of the transition, and we just saw Scott do it.
There's Smits with the double. They kick it back out to McKee. Larry Brown wanting Derek McKee to go strong to the basket, and he's done it a couple of times.
Yes, he has, and it's nice to see, because if they get him in that mix along with Miller, then what they're looking for, Rik Smits to come in big.
Doubleheader for you tonight on TNT. First game, Indiana leading the Magic 32-28. And coming up later, the Seattle Sonics against the Denver Nuggets at the Nichols Arena in the Mile High City, where we have had more snow in the last week than we need, Mr. Brown. It's May 1st, but the mountains are still receiving the white stuff.
And the lifts are closed.
Yes, exactly. It invokes a sense of longing for those of us who live in Steamboat. You look up and see the runs and no way to get up there. 38%, 42% for the Magic, and 63% for Indiana so far. And Derek McKee at the line. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Player of the Game, and Bud will donate $1,000 in his behalf to the United Negro College Fund.
See, Larry Brown very concerned about McKee. Coming into the game, he was 4 for 15. He was only shooting 27%. But we're looking at the 15 shots for 2 games. They want this guy to get up in there and take 11, 12, 13 shots. Tonight, that first quarter, he's definitely taking it to the basket.
Avent. Nice, strong move.
That was very strong. Now Rik Smits at 7'4", 265, comes right across the top of the big fella and takes him down. Now just watch here now. This is a strong move, good jump hop. Smits tried to get that arm before he got it up. But once a power guy gets that arm up above his shoulders, he has an excellent chance of scoring and then getting to the foul line.
O'Neal with 10 points now. And it'll stay there, but Skiles with the putback.
I'm telling you, I'm just amazed at the offensive rebound. That is their 9th offensive board, and we're only inside of 4.5 minutes of the second quarter.
And it cuts the lead to 2. Hardaway and Skiles both on the floor now for Orlando, along with Avent, O'Neal, and Don Royal has also come in.
I love that pass by Smith. He threw the ball on the opposite side. Penny Hardaway was looking away, and they caught him. And that was a great catch and a look quick shot.
Byron Scott, who had the three-pointer at the end of game one. Skiles at the other end. Here's O'Neal. Well, that's impossible. Another offensive rebound.
Indiana doing a great job on the initial shot, and then a horrible job on the rebound. The only way that Orlando's in this game is with the second shot points.
Antonio Davis. Whoa, Skiles takes him down.
First of all, Skiles came from the other side of the lane to pick that man up rolling down the middle. Now he's stunned because that was a very hard foul by Skiles. Now Antonio Davis, he is a key performer. I think his wind is knocked out right now, Vern. We're talking about a guy giving you a good solid 20 minutes. You see Scott, he came from the top. Now the hard foul right there, and he takes him down. Okay, now you can see he hit flush right on the back. Nice pass by Byron, but a terrific read by Skiles, and then the hard foul.
Second timeout has been taken by Indiana.
In the early going, any time that there is a screen at the defensive end of the floor for Orlando, you're seeing the people making strong moves to the basket, coming off of screens, and they're wide open. Right? Then, if they do trap them, the excellent unselfishness of making the pass to the free man. Skiles' foul is one of the very few times we've seen a defender read the pass.
Antonio Davis, I think you're absolutely on the mark here. We had the wind knocked out of him. He's back at the line.
Well, he's doing a great job. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Gets the free throws to fall.
And you like what he's doing. He's shooting 67%, the same as Dale Davis. They only take shots when they're high percentage. And then on the line now, he's now 6 for 9.
Lead is back to 5 at 39-34. And a footnote to this offensive rebounding story. In this quarter thus far, Orlando has missed only 3 shots. And in each occasion, they have gotten a second chance. Event, Hardaway, Skiles, Don Royal, and O'Neal. And this foul is going to be called on Workman, I believe. Or is it Scott? Workman.
For an Indiana, one of the top teams in the league in forcing turnovers. They're just outstanding. And anytime that you force turnovers like that, you're going to set a tempo throughout the league, and then you get away with the body contact, right? Because that comes with the territory.
Skiles to Hardaway. Threw it away.
See, Penny Hardaway is playing and having a magnificent playoff, and there's only one negative to his game. 5 turnovers per game in 1 and 2.
At the other end, here's Workman. 7:50 to go in the first half of play. Indiana up 2-0, and they lead in this game by 5. Smits battling Avent. Air ball, O'Neal. The possession was given to Orlando, or granted them, and then the steal made by Indiana.
Right now, we call it a single doubles right here now for Byron Scott.
Takes the shot, too strong. Gets it back, spots up, 3. Nope. Hardaway rebound. 39-34. Oh, was it ever?
Beautiful.
Was it ever?
Antonio Davis with the foul, his first personal.
Just keep an eye on the head fake and the shoulder fake. The strong move sends it down. The adjustment of the shot. Now you look at Hardaway right here. He's the only rookie who started all 82 games this season. Now in this playoff, he's averaging 45.5 minutes. You see the points, the assists, and the rebounds. And add to that 2 steals and 2 blocks. He's doing it all.
Smits for Indiana. Sam Mitchell comes back on the floor now. Here's Byron Scott, goes by Avent, and there's the presence of Shaquille O'Neal.
Both teams adjusting to the drivers down the lane. They're cutting off the area, forcing you to elevate, and then they are going hard for the shot blocks.
The Pacers are up, but only by 2. Among the 16,000 plus on hand at Market Square Arena, Craig Stadler, who seems to be enjoying himself. Pacers are up 39-37 with 6:55. Craig Stadler, longtime member of the Professional Golf Association Tour. Now let's check the lineups. It's Smits, Scott, Dale Davis, McKee, and Workman for Indiana. Hardaway, Avent, Nick Anderson's back on the floor, Shaquille O'Neal, and Don Royal for the Magic.
That time on that out-of-bounds play, we had Orlando in a matchup zone, and good ball movement. If Workman just would have stopped, he had a higher percentage shot for a little baby jumper.
Shaquille O'Neal is going to draw this foul, and Rik Smits will go to the line.
Well, this is Larry Brown's complaint. They need Smits down inside, and for the guys also to go to him. If Shaq Man is going to line up with him every so often, you must allow Smits to make his move just to draw Shaq into the foul situation.
Shaquille had foul problems there as the miss by Smits in game 2. That's his first foul tonight.
During the course of the year, Smits shot fouls at 79%. In the playoffs right now, he's at 80%.
Lead is back to 3, 6:35 to go first half. I was struck unique by the concerns of both coaches this morning. We chatted with both. Larry Brown said his biggest concern was that Orlando could come in here and do exactly to the Pacers what they did down in Orlando. They have the ability to win 1 or 2 games here. Brian Hill said this morning his approach to his team was, hey, they did it to us. There's no reason we can't come up here and do it to them.
They are the #1 team in the NBA for road attendance. So you know they play in front of hostile crowds every night. This isn't anything new. That was a great move at the other end by Penny Hardaway by shifting the ball and shooting it with his left hand.
Workman, shot clock at 1.
I'm impressed tonight by the defense of Orlando. I have never seen them this aggressive. Now that is the 3rd time that the shot clock has been down. Twice it has gone off. They are really hustling and getting after everything. It's just like the coaching staff wanted. Close first quarter. Hopefully it'll be close at the half, and then they feel that they'll have a chance to win this one on the road.
This is Orlando's bid for its 2nd lead in the ball game. Their last lead was 17-16. Kick it away. Indiana ball.
Nice strip that time. McKee was beaten off the dribble, no doubt about it, but he reached back and was able to catch that one from the rear.
There's the negative for Orlando. That's 10 turnovers now.
In the series, they're averaging 17, and they already have 10. That's the only bad part of their game tonight.
Back to Workman. Smits at the free throw line.
Power forward, Pistoia, Avent. They cannot fall asleep on him when he moves up into that area.
Rik Smits has 8 now. The lead back to 3 under 5 minutes of the first half. Miller, Workman.
Nice.
Smits.
Eye coordination. Workman had him when he was crossing half court as they passed right in front of our table. He knew he was behind him.
And it began with a wonderful pass from Reggie Miller. Donald Royal. O'Neal, the double from Dale Davis. Anderson with the answer for 3 points.
Oh, that will quiet the people in a hurry. Now Anderson in the series is just doing it big. He has now 8 for 17 in threes.
Smits.
You gotta take that.
Well,
Nice. It was there for him.
he did convert it. Under 4 minutes to go. The lead is 46-42.
I'm surprised we have not seen any posting up of Hardaway on Workman.
Indiana ball.
The spacing on the right side of the floor for Orlando is very poor. They continue to beat a man off the dribble. Unfortunately, there's another guy on the low post, and they're crashing into the people. Also, the passing lane is so close that everything that's coming up is a negative for them. They're not getting a shot attempt.
Workman. Nope.
They get it out. If you, oh, that's, See, you don't need that. You don't need that. Now, right now. All right, that was a hard foul, no doubt about it, okay? And it was an elbow. The big thing right now is Orlando needs Anderson, Indiana needs Workman. A lot of pressure right now on the 3 referees of what they're going to call. Now, just keep an eye on this. Now, the shot is missed. Now, watch Anderson get the rebound. Now, Workman now comes in to try to tie him up. Now, watch the elbow. Boom. See? He swings the elbow. A push. You can't. Now I'm going to push you back.
Well, in case you missed it this afternoon, the NBA suspended Dennis Rodman for 1 game and fined him $10,000. And Keith Askins of Miami suspended 3 games, fined $15,000. Doug Edwards of Atlanta 2 games and $10,000. And Grant Long of Miami 1 game and $10,000 for fighting.
Now, to call it the other end, it was just a foul on Work. And I kind of like the way that was handled. I really do. Probably the league office was horrified that I said that. But moving screen. Good call by Tommy Nunez. See, you don't even need that moving screen. Reggie has been getting free every single time, coming up off that stagger. You don't have to move out and catch a guy. Just hold your area. There is no one in the league who reads screens better than Reggie. He'll go away from the defensive player. We'd like to show you this offensive set. Now here's Reggie Miller. He can come out this side off of a single. Now right here you have 1 and you have 2. But unfortunately, McKee does not screen Miller's man. Now you're going to watch it here. See, he misses him. But now watch outside as they step out. You did not. That was unnecessary. See, he was free anyway, and they would have had to trap him, and the man who committed the foul would have had an open shot in the corner.
Back to live action now. Orlando. Anthony Hardaway, Dennis Scott, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Krzyzewski is back in the floor, and so is Nick Anderson.
See, that was a strong trap by Antonio Davis, and he was able to get back to the Shaq man.
Krzyzewski gets the rebound off the missed shot and puts it back in.
Hey, give Larry his due. He's really working hard. And, you know, he's averaging 8 rebounds and coming into this game for the first 2 games. Now, he only played 34 ball games this year because of the stress factor in the foot and then also an arch problem. I'm happy that he's healthy because he really adds a lot to this Orlando team. And he's a young man who plays with a lot of intensity. And he does all of the dirty things for a ball club, all the little things that only coaches and other players appreciate.
Magic in the second quarter, 75% from the field now. That foul was on Scott. That's his 3rd. And he'll go to the bench. Donald Royal comes in.
Scott gives you the threes, but he doesn't help you on the board, see? When you got Darrell Royal in there, he's more of a driver, a penetrator, and he will help you rebound.
Antonio Davis, nope. Dale Davis, no. And the rebound, Penny Hardaway. And a chance for Orlando to claim its first lead since 17-16. Tough rebound by Antonio Davis.
And the presence to kick it out. Now that was a hard drop. Penny Hardaway jumped right up into the dribbling lane of Fleming, forcing that turnover. Now just keep an eye here now. Antonio Davis comes off of this strong. See, they collide a little bit, but that's like loose ball action. Now he has the presence to roll up, get rid of the ball. Now in high school and college, you'd have to worry about a turnover there because of rolling over. In the NBA, they allow that. Oh, yes.
Was that any good? Penny Hardaway posted up, and they got him.
That was a beautiful pass through a needle by Royal, and that was a planned play, a reverse spin by Hardaway.
And Orlando has the lead and the ball. Here's Hardaway. Nick Anderson. And Nick Anderson will go to the line, having been fouled.
Nick Anderson is really laying out an effort again tonight, Vern. He has impeccable stats, you know, in this series, playing 41 minutes, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and he's matched up in a tough assignment playing Reggie Miller. And anybody who guards Reggie Miller at the end of the night, you know, you go grab a little bite to eat and right to bed. I'll tell you that right now. Reggie wears you down.
Coming up at halftime, the Reebok halftime report. Turney Johnson in our Atlanta studios with the Charlotte Hornets' Alonzo Mourning. They'll have all the scores and highlights and an interview with Rodney Rogers of the Denver Nuggets. That's coming up at halftime.
It's an 11-2 run in the last 3 minutes and 27 seconds by Atlanta. They're playing smart basketball.
Mitchell, back it comes out to Fleming. McKee, Smits, Mitchell, Reggie Miller, and Vern Fleming. Rebound, Orlando. They lead by 4. Anderson. Kristoviak. And Smits finally for the Pacers.
Once again, Kristoviak on the glass.
Smits threw it away.
The fans right here at courtside are getting out of hand. I mean, they're out here yelling and screaming, and they're getting close to the playing floor. And you can't have that because they don't understand the game. They're just all tied up at their own ball club. They want every time that Indiana gets a bump, they want to be on the foul line. Like true fans should be.
Of course.
But they just do not want to give Orlando any credit for the incredible hustle that they are seeing here right now. This is a ferocious game. There are bodies flying, and in all the games I have done this year, I have never seen so many guys hit the floor in the painted area or hit the stanchion that it elevates the basket and the backboard.
And get up and accept it as a part of what's going to happen here tonight.
I agree 100%, Brian.
46-42 was Indiana's lead at the 4-minute mark. They've been outscored 8-0 since that time.
Well, Indiana has kind of lost their finesse in their passing game and then looking down inside. They've kind of lost that movement a little bit. Plus, you must give Orlando credit. We brought it out one other time this quarter. Their defense is the best that I have seen all year. They are really covering people and helping from the opposite side.
Skiles back in the lineup now. Kristoviak. Royal.
Down to 3.
Skiles. Got it.
Yes. Yes, Scotty. Scotty started the first 47 games. Well,
very, very strong second quarter for the Orlando Magic. Ends with a 10-0 run. They come from 4 down to lead by 6 at the halftime break. The Pacers missed their last 6 from the field. Back to our Atlanta studios in just a moment.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok, to remind you that on Planet Reebok, there are no rules.
All right, they are halfway home at Market Square. Orlando trying to avoid elimination in the first round. They have a 52-46 lead over the Pacers. This is the Reebok Halftime Report. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Alonzo Mourning. Big run by the Magic there late in the half to take the lead 10-0. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, Indiana, they definitely came out, and they were the aggressor from the start. And they went into Shaq throughout the first part of the game, and he basically set the tone for Orlando. That was the difference down the stretch, definitely, with that 10-point run down the stretch. And then Penny came in, and he shot the ball very well, and as well as Dennis and the other guys, they hit some really big threes, and it kind of opened some things up for Orlando, and they pulled away, and they developed a lead down the stretch of the first half.
Now, about a year ago, about this time, you knew what it was like to be in these playoffs. In fact, you enjoyed those moments that guys dream about. It's the Hornets and the Boston Celtics, Game 4 at the Hive. Here it was. Take me through that. Oh, man. And you survived the onslaught of your teammates. I know that brings back some great memories. And what was it like now? What did you learn about being in the postseason as opposed to regular season play?
Well, that was a great moment in my life, definitely. It was a great moment in my life, and a great moment for the organization and the team. We worked hard for that moment. Going back, the intensity level was so high there, and it was disappointing just going through this season and experiencing a season such as that, and not being able to get back in the same position again. It was definitely tough for us.
Well, you get UNLJ back healthy, and you'll be back in there next year. Now, folks, in case you missed the crime and punishment news from the NBA today, Dennis Rodman has been suspended for 1 game and fined $10,000 for his actions in Game 2 of the San Antonio-Utah series. In that game, he put Karl Malone, John Stockton, and Tom Chambers on the floor, was whistled for 1 flagrant foul, and had another one added today after the league had reviewed the tapes. We hope to speak with Dennis Rodman later tonight in the course of our doubleheader. The Hawks and Heat play Game 3 of their 1-1 series tomorrow night in Miami. Game 2 marked by a nasty bench-clearing brawl, and suspensions and fines have followed. Miami's Keith Askins, a 3-game suspension and $15,000 fine. Atlanta's Doug Edwards, 2 games and $10,000. But the key 1-game suspension goes to Grant Long. The Heat will go without him in Game 3. He was docked $10,000, and 12 other players were hit with $2,500 fines for leaving the bench. And when the Reebok Halftime Report continues, we'll look ahead to Game 2 of our TNT doubleheader, the Sonics and the Nuggets in Denver. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Reebok Halftime Report. Still to come tonight, Game 3 of the Seattle-Denver series. The Sonics in position to sweep after winning the first 2 at home. Denver hung with them in Game 2, eventually falling by 10. Rookie Rodney Rogers came off the bench and scored 17, canning 4 3-pointers as the Nuggets chipped away at that Sonic lead. Denver is home tonight, a chance to get right back in this series, and Rodney Rogers joins us from McNichols Arena. Rodney, thank you so much for your time. Let me ask you something. You are down 2-0. You lost a couple of games by double digits. What did that do to your confidence level?
Well, we knew that the first game we really didn't play well. In the second game, we wanted to come out and just try to compose ourselves and slow it down and not let Seattle get a lot of fast break points and second shot opportunity. We cut the game close a couple of times, but they was able to extend their lead, and it was just too much for us up in Seattle. So the main thing tonight is just come down and we at home, we're on our own turf, and we just got to handle business. It's going to be a physical series throughout the whole thing, and we try not to lose 3-0.
Rodney, this is Alonzo. How you doing?
Pretty good, man.
All right. Rodney, Seattle's pressure defense, they seem to be very effective, especially in the first 2 games. What can you do to change that?
The main thing, we're going to have to just beat their press, and we're going to have to wear them down on the inside because they really don't have no shot blockers, Sean Kimball, if you pump fake and get him up in the air, we probably can get him in foul trouble. But once we get the ball in the low post, they've been able to collapse and have 3 or 4 guys around the guys who has the ball in the post. And instead of us making the extra pass, kicking it out for the guy with the opening jump shot, we haven't been doing it. So that's something that we're going to have to do tonight in order to stop their defensive pressure.
Yeah, Rodney, what's going on the boards? During the regular season in 4 games, there was a difference of only 14 in the rebounding department, and they have killed you on the boards. What's up?
I don't know. We have to, well, once we shoot the ball, we really have to have 2 or 3 guys back because they're really leaking out. And, you know, they got Kemp and Cage and Perkins and them hitting the boards really hard. And sometimes Kendall sneak in there. And it's just really hurting us, and we can't let them get the fast break point. Because as long as you let Seattle run and gun, they're going to beat you. You're going to have problems all night.
All right, thank you very much, Rodney Rogers. Good luck tonight. That's game 2 of our doubleheader, the Denver Nuggets and the Seattle Supersonics. We'll be back with more on the Reebok Halftime Report in just a second. Orlando with a lead at Indiana. Welcome back to the Reebok Halftime Report. It's always a thrill when we have a guest in for the first time to turn him loose on the telestrator. For the debut on Alonzo Mourning now to discuss how you deal with Shaquille O'Neal. You got it, big guy.
All right. Well, Ernie, right here we see Indiana's defense pressuring Shaquille out of his zone. And they pushed him out to about the free throw line where he's less effective. He's more effective down here. So they pretty much put him in a position to take a shot that he's not really comfortable with.
Certainly one of the keys to Indiana's success, make the guy shoot from outside, and they get the board there. He's much better when he has that deeper post-up, isn't he?
Without a doubt. You know, he's a whole lot more effective when he's down here and pretty much in this triangle area right here. And once he gets the ball down there, he's pretty much unstoppable.
Shaquille O'Neal with 14 points in the first half. You remember he had 15 in game 2, and that was his season low for Shaquille O'Neal. It is a 52-46 game, the Magic with the lead over the Indiana Pacers, and the second half is coming right up.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
We're getting ready for the second half. The Orlando Magic with a very strong second quarter. They come from 7 down. They score the last 10, and they have a 6-point lead, trying to overcome a 2-0 deficit. They really were impressive in that second quarter.
You have to give them their due. They overcame 12 turnovers by doing a terrific job on the boards. 11 offensive rebounds, 5 by Shaq, 3 by Larry Krystkowiak, and then 4 for 10 in three-point shooting. So they made up for the fact that they have the 12 turnovers. Give them a lot of credit. Their defense has been outstanding.
Well, the numbers underline what happened here on the court. Take a look at what happened in the second quarter.
Well, the field goal shooting in the second is 61% for the Magic because of all of the points that they're getting in second shots. The blocks, the Pacers doing an excellent job with 5. And as we move on, we're going to see the offensive rebound. We tell you 11, and then you match that up down below. That's the difference in the game. The second chance points, 14. So you can say Indiana's initial defense is terrific. Then you got Larry Miller here. I mean, Larry Miller, an old player in the ABA. All right, Reggie Miller, 9 points, but he only has 5 shot attempts. All right, Shaq, man, 14 points, 12 shot attempts. But how about this? In 28 half-court possessions, the Shaq man has caught the ball 20 times. I think that's a little emphasis of getting him the basketball. Now this right here, Roger Brown, Mel Daniels, George McGinnis, 3 of the greats that played in the ABA when this franchise won 3 ABA championships. They were coached by Slick Leonard. They had an awesome area of talent.
I just ran into all 3 of them at halftime.
Did you really?
They're here, yes indeed.
Well, it's nice.
Well, those of us with a sense of history remember fondly those days. And there's the coach.
There's the coach with the striped tie. Played in the NBA for many years, and then was an outstanding coach in the ABA and the NBA when we had the merger.
52-46. Here's Haywood Workman. Left side from McKee. And Reggie Miller, who did not score in the second quarter, has 9. Smits turnaround, too strong. O'Neal with another rebound.
Want to bring out the point. Oh, double tip. Oh, easy goes here. Everyone wants a tee, but that's a little frustration there by Penny. At halftime in the turnover department, see, Penny had 3. That's his 4th turnover. We tell you that's the only negative that we see so far in the playoffs. He was averaging 5 turnovers a game, and already today he has 4.
Orlando trying to do what Phoenix did a year ago, but then it was a 1 seed against an 8 when they lost their first 2 at home against the Lakers and came back and won the series 3 games to 2. Here it's the 4th seeded Orlando Magic against the number 5 seed Indiana Pacers. Foul Kristoviak.
Kristoviak is giving away so many inches and the weight factor to Rik Smits. Now, Rik Smits, we told you, 7'4", 265. Now, Kristoviak giving away the size, but he is challenging, and he's getting his body on body as Smits releases his shot.
Unexpected.
Unexpected because he's an 80% foul shooter. Now, in that first half, he was 4 for 6 from the field with 3 rebounds, 2 for 4 from the line. That's his 3rd miss.
One of 2, 52-47. Now Hardaway guarded by Workman. Smits on O'Neal. Here's Dennis Scott. Reggie Miller stays right with him. O'Neal with the miss. Dale Davis with the rebound.
Transition defense at both ends tonight, Vern. Excellent.
That jumper is good by Dale Davis.
Anytime that you get Dale Davis and Antonio Davis hitting a jump shot outside of 10 feet, that is a major bonus for you.
Hardaway loses it. Another turn away. Nice play. Too strong. Dale Davis with the miss.
That was a 3-on-1. Jump ball. Good call. Very good call by Eddie Rush. That time you got a 3-on-1 situation. Just watch. Just look the fact that he intimidated him. See, he did not give up on that, Dennis Scott. Just by going over, sure he missed his head, but the idea is he made him think, and he lost his concentration.
Reggie Miller chases down the ball after the tip. And Indiana has scored the first 3 of this quarter. Here's Smits. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Depends upon which side of the fence you're on.
And which city you're in.
That's right. Is it an offensive foul? Was it a flop? Keep an eye on it right here. There's a good fake offensive foul. He definitely came right back into his chest.
52-49. Dale Davis with the rebound. Here's McKee. Kristoviak, they get it to Smits, stripped to the ball.
That was just a beautiful pass. A beautiful pass. Derek McKee just dropped that one right down in there. And he's been having an excellent passing series. How about that? Now, he had to thread that. He beat the trap. Good, strong foul by Nick Anderson. And remember we tell you about Nick Anderson. He's having a terrific series. He worked so hard in that first half. He played 21 minutes versus Reggie Miller, and he held him to 5 shot attempts, and that's difficult to do.
Well, if there was a decided advantage to either team coming in, it was at the free throw line, but Indiana having problems, particularly Rik Smits having problems. 52-50. 9:45 to go, quarter number 3. Anderson from Kristoviak, back to Hardaway.
Good call. That was a good call. See, that time, the defender was there. Now, just keep an eye on this. Now, Hardaway comes right down. He's right there, and he's going to take it. Solid call.
Derek McKee takes the charge. 52-50. Time has been called. 52-50. Orlando still has the lead. And coming up later tonight, Game 3, the Sonics against the Nuggets in Denver. That follows our game. Then tomorrow night, a tripleheader on TNT and TBS. Actually, 2 games on TNT, the Hawks and the Heat, Game 3. Then on TBS at 10:30, the Rockets and the Blazers. Simultaneously, you'll have San Antonio against Utah. All Game 3s tomorrow night.
Well, the fans are really jacked up here. Orlando with 4 turnovers in their first 6 possessions of this half.
Interesting, Hubie, during the halftime break, I was talking to one of the officials from Indiana. He said he'd never before tonight seen a completely sold-out Market Square Arena. There simply are no tickets available. My gracious, what a shot by Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, it's good to see, Vern, because during the 41-game homestand, they only had 6 sellouts here and averaged 13,000. Now, just keep an eye on the Shaq man. He's working hard down inside. He drops that shoulder and comes right in. Now, one guy wants an offensive foul. You're not going to get that with the Shaq man. He had an excellent first half. The shot attempts were there. He was 6 for 12. He's now 7 for 13. He had 10 rebounds, and he did a nice job for him on the foul line.
Orlando up by 5. For him, indicating that he's just over 50% for the year at the free throw line. Shot clock down to 4. Foul on Kristoliak.
Ever since the first quarter, the Indiana offense is struggling. Struggling because they're having difficulty getting Reggie Miller and also McKee high percentage shots. And when they do get a shot, the defenders are right on top of it.
Well, guess what?
Well, I'm happy to see that. Nick Anderson was a half a step behind. That was a quick catch and shot.
That is the first basket for Reggie Miller since the first quarter. And his first attempt in this half. 55-52. Kristoliak for Orlando. Rebound, Reggie Miller. 8:20 to go, third quarter. Kick it back to Dale Davis. And that's a turnover against Indiana.
Yeah, well, the rotation was perfect. Picked him up in the lane. In the old story, never leave your feet unless you're going to shoot the basketball. You leave your feet thinking pass first, and they take away the lanes, then you end up with a turnover.
Kristoliak. Anderson foul by Reggie Miller.
I thought we would see more of this in this game. Either posting Anderson against Miller or clearing out the side and allowing him to take him. Put the pressure on their best offensive player. You've got to make him expend some energies at the defensive end of the floor.
Do you expect to see more of that now?
Yeah, I really do, because I feel that he can go down inside. He can go up over the top of him, because Nick Anderson is an excellent player from the foul line down. He was a forward in college, and when he first came in this league, you know, as a rookie after his junior year at Illinois, that was his game. Now he's added the three-point shooting, and he's an excellent three-point shooter.
Antonio Davis, Dale Davis, Workman, Reggie Miller, and McKee now for Indiana. Kristoliak and O'Neal along with Hardaway, Anderson, and Scott for Orlando. Antonio Davis will shoot a couple of free throws.
Nick Anderson put a great deal of pressure on Miller that time on that release. Antonio Davis, though, really a find. This young man was drafted out of UTEP in 1990. Went overseas, played 2 years in Greece, and then a year in Italy, and now he's back. And what a find. He played in the SHIP All-Star game for rookies, did an excellent job. He's been solid for them all season. He gives you 20 to 24 minutes. He gives you the 8 points, 6, 7 rebounds, and he can block shots. He is a rough customer. He's taken the pressure off of Larry Brown by the fact that he can play 2 positions, big forward and center.
The free throw woes continue for Indiana tonight, though, as Davis misses both. And Orlando 6 of 8. That's 12 of 20 from the free throw line for the Pacers this evening.
Uncharacteristic for this ball club because they're an excellent free throw shooting team during the season.
Antonio Davis draws the foul. That's 4 on Davis. 56-52, 7:25 to go, quarter number 3.
They just ran a baseline screen for the Shaq man. Here's a quick double team by Dale Davis.
Miller flying at the ball, deflects it, and then the rebound comes down to Workman. Now here's a 4-on-2. Workman, Antonio Davis. No basket, offensive foul.
Tough angle, tough angle. Larry Brown in the Indiana bench. Now just keep an eye on this. Now just watch the angle. Oh, he was there, no doubt about it, and he was out far enough.
Davis has to sit down.
See, they're exasperated, Indiana. They cannot defend their defensive board. They're not scoring in transition and getting easy baskets, and they're missing their foul shots.
Here's Scott. Well, and as time wears on, I have a feeling Larry Brown is getting really frustrated.
Oh, bad shot. Bad shot at him.
He was chatting with us, Hubie, and you can relate to this so well as a coach. You don't know how many chances you're going to get, and you've got them at home. Okay, fine, you've got a game 4 here, but everything seems to change emotionally if they lose this one.
Well, that's what he said at the top of the show. The toughest thing for young teams when they get into the playoff is to close out a series.
Kristoviak.
Is he working or what? Now, he had 3 offensive rebounds in the first half, 2 already this quarter. He has 5 offensive boards. Doing it, terrific job. Nice call by Eddie Rush. See, that was unnecessary.
Larry Kristoviak with his third personal. 5 team fouls on a level penalty in effect. Your Pacers go to the line.
Kristoviak is upset that time, but that was a collision, and it was a very strong ball. You cannot have that kind of collisions going on without a call.
Reggie Miller, 90% for the season at the free throw line. Now let's take a look at the GMC scoreboard. Last night, Houston went up 2-0. So did Phoenix over Golden State. And New York over New Jersey, all but taking 2-0 leads. Chicago defeated Cleveland. They're also up by 2-0. And tonight, Seattle and Denver. That's game 2 on TNT. Game 3 in the series, the second game tonight. Foul called, I believe, on McKee.
See, many nights you're so concerned about a player. You're concerned about the Shaq man down inside, and then their perimeter three-point shooting with Scott and Anderson, that you have a tendency to forget Larry Kristoviak at that big forward position. And he's doing all the dirty work tonight. And you love it because he's taking a pounding physically. He's matched up with Rik Smits, so there's a lot of body contact. He's got 5 offensive boards. He's diving on the floor for balls. Anytime the Shaq man receives a pass, he dives to the basket. You're working hard. You got your lunch bill with you.
Yeah. And his team is up by 6. 5:54 to go, third quarter. They led by 6 at the half after a 10-0 run to end the first half of play. Smits with a turnaround.
It's about time that he has moved to the lane, okay? Every time has been to the baseline, Not necessary. Just take Kristoviak into the lane. You can shoot over him and you have a higher percentage shot.
Anderson free after the double team on Shaquille O'Neal. Illegal defense.
See, if you're going to come on a trap, you cannot get caught 2 zones away. And that's what happened on that possession. And remember, you cannot double team a man without the ball in the post area.
The lead is 4 for Orlando. They trail in the series 2 games to none. And Krzysztofiak with a touch.
Larry's breaking out all the moves right now. I'm telling you, he's breaking them out.
Krzysztofiak fronts Smits, and then O'Neal comes over to help out from behind.
Well, that's there. Anytime that they front Smits, the lob is there. Unfortunately, Shaq Man is coming from the other side of the lane. Watch him come right into your picture. He gets a piece of it, and then good foul.
Krzysztofiak got the foul. That's his 4th.
See, all the big guys in this league, they understand. When they're going strong to the basket like that, they know they're going to be fouled. They're going to get raked across the arms because every coach who's a defensive coach is telling them, just do not allow the guy to get an uncontested dunk. Force him to go to the foul line and make the foul shots. We're playing under some pressure here.
Rik Smits gets them both. The lead is 4 with 4:57 to go, quarter number 3. Indiana led by as many as 7 in the second quarter, trailed by 6 at the half. Orlando down 2-0 in the series, up 4 points in this game.
Remember what we said now. Anytime that Hardaway wants to post up Workman, they can get that shot.
Good ball movement that time. Here's Miller, 2-on-2.
Nice.
Oh, was it ever.
Just a beautiful head and shoulder fake, and then the big step to his right. Strong move by Reggie.
Lead cut to 2. Last tie in the game was at 46 all. There's another. Oh!
Yes! What a prayer shot! Just watch as he comes underhanded with this one now. You're going to see the move. Here comes the double team. Now, step through and under. Just beautiful. Penny Hardaway, high school player of the year, Parade Magazine, 1990. Player of the year in his conference, 2 straight years. First team All-American, 2 straight years. And what an impact he's had on this franchise.
They booed him early in the season. They don't do so anymore. He's destined for greatness in this league.
Yes, he is. A tremendous talent, Brian. And the thing you love about him, he plays the other end of the floor. He's getting better and better defensively on the point guards.
Orlando is up by 4 with 4:01 remaining, quarter number 3.
We'd like to show you Penny Hardaway in a post here. Anytime that you are feeding the post man, try not to feed him above the foul line extended, but to come down, and it gives you a better passing area into the post. Now just watch what happens. First of all, you allow the defender to make a bad passing angle. Now you're going away from the basket. Fortunately, he saves this entire play with a miraculous shot.
Yes, he did. 64-60. And here's Indiana the inbound. Derek McKee, Mitchell, Workman, Dale Davis. Here's McKee. Loose ball, Orlando.
Anytime you go behind the board tonight, you know that there will be 2 defenders there to pick you up and strip you. Both teams have been very consistent on that.
Dennis Scott gets it back, misses the shot. Avant can't hang on. Indiana ball again.
Right now, people are crashing the board. We have some second unit people in there right now, and you must hold your area. You cannot allow guys coming over your back to push you under the board. Now, Scott is really struggling this evening. He's only 3 for 11 from the floor.
We've got some perspiration on the floor, so time has been called to do some custodial work. Let's check who we've got on the court now for Orlando. It's Scott and Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, Anderson and Avant, and Mitchell and Workman join Dale Davis, Reggie Miller, and Derek McKee for the Pacers. 64-60, 3:24 remaining. No double-digit leads for either team tonight. Largest lead has been 7. That by Indiana. The largest Orlando lead 6. Miller.
That time, Nick Anderson gambled and went over the top of the screen. Reggie read it perfectly and faded right to the corner.
O'Neal at the other end.
Oh, the big fella. He just dropped that shoulder and said, fellas, out of the way.
This is going to hurt somebody.
Yes, it is. Oh, great block.
Anderson with the defensive play.
What a wonderful move by Reggie Miller. He faked one way, came back, received the pass, and then Nick Anderson, a spectacular block.
Derek McKee called for the reach-in foul.
Now keep an eye on this move. Reggie, great fake, and how about this? Nick never gave up on that move. Reggie fake going out to the left on a down screen.
Dennis Scott.
Well, in this series, Dennis Scott has only attempted 4 foul shots in 3 games. We know that it is not a major part of his game. But when you have a small forward, you would like him to have a little bit more of a dimension to his offensive game other than the 3-point shot, especially at playoff time. Because at playoff time, they force you to put the ball down on the floor.
Scott Skiles replacing Nick Anderson, and now Vern Fleming comes on replacing Haywood working for the Pacers.
Now Fleming in that first half came in and gave the team a little shot in the arm with 4 points. Scott Skiles did a great job. In 9 minutes, 7 points, 3 for 4 from the field.
Skiles on Fleming. Can't save it. Skiles. Then Sam Mitchell gets it back for Indiana.
Good hustle by Mitchell.
Vern Fleming takes it over O'Neal short. Gets the loose ball. Miller. Hardaway. 2. He has a touch.
Well, that's a scorer working. And how about that steal by Vern? Beautiful.
McKee.
Bad shot.
Gets the follow.
Good hustle.
Lead is cut to 2. Under 2 minutes to go. Quarter number 3. Since falling behind by 6 at the half, Indiana has not had a tie or the lead.
Beautiful screen and roll. Shaq set the screen. Penny came off and then threaded the needle with that return pass to the big fella. Now keep an eye on it now. Now watch him roll. Good move. Drop the right leg. Nice. Strong move. Now it's going to be up to Shaq. From now to the end of this game, you know he's going to get on the foul line. He must make the foul shots.
Didn't. Didn't again.
Well, we tried to bring out that point at the top. You lose game 1 by 1, game 2 by 2, and as a team, you're only shooting 68% from the foul line. And in the 2 games previously, you missed a total of 19 foul shots.
Now a chance for the tie or the lead. McKee. O'Neal.
Orlando needs some easy baskets, man. When they get the rebound, they get the ball out, force the break. Let's see if Indiana gets back.
Scott goes by McKee. The dish on the baseline, and that's 2. Anthony Avent.
Once again, take advantage of that power forward, whether it's Pistoiak or Avent. Anytime Shaq gets double teamed, he's open. Anytime there's penetration down the lane, you're getting trapped by the big forward. Get the ball to the big forward going to that rim.
Miller. Hardaway for Orlando. Well, the lead was cut to 2. It's now at 4. Here's O'Neal.
There it is.
Avent.
You have to send those home.
And the lead is back to 6.
See, that man is open every time, Vern. It's his job to create the passing lane so Shaq Penny can see him. And sometimes they cut, but they don't create the passing lane. And once you make the pass, please play big and send it home strong. Fleming. Wow, that's an old pro. Vern's got great moves, and Vern has a lot of courage because he'll always challenge you and take you to the front of the ring. That's a push-off.
Skiles. We have finished 3 at Market Square Arena. The Pacers try to win the series, trail by 4. Back for the final 12 minutes in a moment. Cool spring night in central Indiana and Indianapolis, but very warm inside Market Square Arena. Sold out. Vern Lundquist and Hubie Brown. The Orlando Magic led by 6 at the half. They're up by 4 right now, trying to cut the margin in half in this series.
Well, you can see the scoring by the quarters, and it's been difficult here tonight to get a high percentage shot. A factor for Indiana. LaSalle Thompson broke his left hand in game 1. He only played less than 6 minutes and broke his hand. So that eliminates a big body, a 6'10", 260-pound backup center that you could use to spell Smits, because Antonio Davis with the 5 fouls. This is a hardship right now for Indiana.
Skiles gets it back to Dennis Scott, who's had shooting problems tonight, but cans that one.
They need him to break people down, shoot over the top, and then when he spots up, they need him to get hot. And that will take off some pressure on the Shaq man down inside.
Here's Smits. Avent trying to deny him.
Now they could have called that foul. There's LaSalle Thompson sitting on the bench right now with the broken bone in the left hand.
Rik Smits at the line for your Pacers.
And Rik Smits will shoot 2.
Yeah, that foul could have been first of all, by the leg, along with the hit. The leg forced him to stumble that time.
Shaquille O'Neal picks up his 4th. Smits with 18 points now. 74-70.
They're doing a nice job getting it in bounds, but then Indiana does not allow Hardaway to get the ball back. So you need Skiles now to set your offense in motion.
Hardaway.
That was pretty. That was pretty. Nice head and shoulder fake. Froze the defensive man, Vern Fleming, and gave him a spin move.
Sam Mitchell on the floor now for Indiana. Here's Fleming. Fleming and Mitchell. Smits, McKee, and Scott.
Good call. That was illegal defense. That time they caught Avent on the opposite side of the lane. Both teams now have 1 illegal defense.
Fleming guarded by Skiles. 10:40 to go in regulation. Good job by Avent. Indiana gets it back. Here's McKee. Too strong. Dennis Scott, 76-70. This could be the largest lead of the game.
Dennis. 2 runners in the lane in the space of 2 minutes.
Orlando with its largest lead of the night, as Dennis Scott has hit a couple, and the Magic is up by 8 points. Now here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint.
Well, you can see right now the reason for the Magic holding on to this lead. 14.5 offensive rebounds, already 14. Now go right down below. 22-6 in second chance points. When you're on the road, that's so difficult to do. Inside scoring, Orlando 60, Indiana 38 inside the paint.
78-70.
Right now, the 4 position, meaning the big forward. Krzysztofiak 12 points and Avant 4. So you got 16 points and 12 rebounds out of the big forward position, and we still have 9 minutes to play. Scott got it. What an addition. Picked him up December 7th. Leads the bench players 10 points a game. And then in game 1, hit the big 3-point shot with 2 seconds on the clock to win it for you.
Scott Skiles spotting up for 3. Off the mark. Avant tracks down the long rebound.
Stepped out of bounds. You know, that was interesting. There was a player 10 feet away from me then, wide open, in the middle of the floor, looking for the 3. I'm not saying word because Avant just ran 25 feet to get that ball.
That's right.
Okay? He was so terrific tonight.
Scott fouled by O'Neal, I believe, and that'll be 5.
Now that puts the pressure on Brian Hill right now. Up here comes Tree Rollins right away.
Shaquille O'Neal has played all but 1 minute tonight. Now it'll be 1 minute plus.
Unfortunately for them, they can bring in a quality player like Rollins. We know that he was the assistant coach this year. They activate him. 17 years of experience. You know you're going to get the rebounding and the shot blocking in the lane. So naturally, the other 4 people now must pick up the offensive load until the Shaq gets back.
Well, mark the moment, 9:22 remaining in the game when O'Neal goes to the bench, and the free throws continue to be a problem for Indiana.
Well, that's rare because, you know, Scott, all throughout his career, an outstanding free throw shooter with the Lakers and even here during this course of the season.
Gets 1 of 2, cuts the lead to 5. 9:20 to go.
Fans are excited. Reggie Miller going to the table.
Penny Hardaway guarded by Vern Fleming. Scott guarded by Scott. Anderson almost stripped by McKee. Offensive foul over the back.
Over the back, Tree Rollins. See, they are leaving Tree Rollins and double teaming anyone who is in a post-up position. It's up to Tree then to get into the lane at the dotted line and show so that they can find him for the pass like they did in game 1 where he had 2 dunks.
Reggie Miller back on the floor now for Indiana, not scored in this quarter. He's got 19 in the game. Smits over Avant short. Hardaway with the rebound. Tree Rollins loses it.
That's okay. Now that's good hustle. The 3 of your players are on the glass. Everyone fighting for that rebound. Oh, wide open.
Oh, boy. And it goes down for Dale Davis.
Oh, my. They switched, and instead 2 players went with one and allowed Dale Davis. Avant should have switched that time.
Lead at 3. The runner no good, the putback no good, the rebound Smits of Indiana.
Great steal.
Nick Anderson, Avant. Oh, was it ever.
How about that? If they make that pitch out, they had 4-on-1. Anderson gambles, and he makes the steal.
Circle that play. Smits and Rollins battling for position in the low post. Here's Smits.
He's open. Yes. Hey, Rick has a nice game with his back to the basket. He has some nice moves and good hesitation fakes. Now just watch as they hit him. He takes Rollins in here, gives him a little fade and the shot. Now Tree with the long arms could not get a piece of that ball.
Smits has 20 on the night. Technical foul has been called.
Oh my, that's a costly one. That's a costly one. Referee contesting the call. Picks up the technical. We're sitting in a 3-point game here.
Technical is good by Reggie Miller. The lead is down to 2, and here's Smits.
This young man is so talented, but the tendonitis in the knees have really curtailed his career because he never plays 30 minutes a game during the course of the season. And at playoff time, they try to shift gears for him and get him up to 35 or 36 minutes. Last year, he neutralized Patrick Ewing in points and rebounding in that New York series, and that's what they're hoping for in this playoff.
And a chance for their first lead since 46-44. Byron Scott, touched by Anderson, Indiana ball.
They can't lose their cool now. Things are not going their way. In the last 2 minutes, Orlando, getting the bad breaks. That one right there, you thought that ball should go off of Byron Scott out of bounds.
Shaquille O'Neal sat down with foul number 5 with 9:22 to go in the game. Here's Miller. Indiana leads.
Penny Hardaway is trying to do too much. In the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, Indiana 11-2. Now Penny Hardaway, they call timeout to get his team. Ryan Hill called timeout to get his team over in the huddle. Hardaway did not think he charged. That was an excellent call by the referee. We'd like to show you the go-ahead basket on this out-of-bounds play. Watch Reggie run his man off and hit this shot. Just a half a step. That's all he needs because he's right up. Now, unfortunately, Orlando inbounds, and they run it up the side. Penny Hardaway charges right into the chest of Reggie Miller. So not only does Reggie make the big score, he forces Hardaway into his 9th turnover of this game. Now right up on top, we're showing you the old ABA championships here with the old Indiana Pacers. I like that timeout. I just thought that was a great timeout by Brian Hill because he had to regroup his ball club and get their heads back in this game to understand it's a 5-man game. It's not 1 against 5.
McKee back to Fleming. Here's Reggie Miller, guarded by Nick Anderson. Took the full timeout or a 20?
You know what? He took a timeout, and he would have had a foul on Nick Anderson if he didn't call a timeout, because there is no such thing in the NBA anymore as a force out.
20-second timeout for Indiana. Well, you go back over the history of the franchise, and of course, they were one of the charter franchises in the old American Basketball Association. You just saw the banners. In 1967, Roger Brown, one of the heroes of those Pacer teams, was reminiscing today. The first All-Star game was played here in Indianapolis, and the most valuable player of that game was Larry Brown.
Yeah, that's right. Larry was a great player.
Trying to get into the second round for the first time since they joined the NBA. They're 0 for 6 in previous attempts.
Now, for the bench with Orlando, they've got to make a big decision. When do you bring the Shaq back? You can't sit too long, but you can sit as long as you're still either up 1 or 2, or that you just don't want to get down big. Good pressure that time. Forced that shot. Forced the tough percentage shot by Vern Fleming.
Shaquille O'Neal was out for 2 minutes and 24 seconds. 81-80 with 6:40 remaining in the game. Another turnover.
Well, they had the screen and roll. Both guys picked up Nick Anderson. Avent was wide open in the corner, and they went away from him. You know, you've got to take advantage of the big forwards because they've done such a good job for you.
How about Vern Fleming on the court at this time?
Oh, they got him in there because he's smart and he's a scorer. And how about this guy? Does he love the pressure? He makes all the big shots.
9 of 14 for Reggie Miller.
Right now, you're Orlando. You cannot forget about Shaq. You're going inside of 6 minutes right now.
Timeout called by Orlando.
Well, right now, Nick Anderson was looking for the foul. I mean, there's no doubt about that. That's why he was surprised that the foul was not called. That forced them into a timeout.
Orlando has called time. They trail by 3.
We'd like to show you the screen that Dale Davis puts right here for Reggie Miller to come out and get that shot. And just keep an eye on it now. It's a hard, with both forearms, stepped and picked them up. Nick fights his way through, but that's all he needed, a half a step. Now right now, on the clock, we have 16 seconds. Orlando must get this ball over half court in 2 seconds.
Dennis Scott will inbound. Rik Smits goes for the steal. O'Neal has it. Avent. Running hook, no good. Dale Davis, Fleming, McKee, Smits, and Reggie Miller on the floor for the Pacers.
We're taking a little while here now. Nice move by Vern. Oh, yes. Penny Hardaway gambles. Vern does a little zip-zap with the ball and right into the lane for the shot. And you asked before, why is he in the game? He's in the game because he's a prime-time scorer, and the knee is healed right now, and his mouth is okay. And the conditioning is a factor. Larry kept him out. He knows he needs him on the floor right now.
I really like Larry Brown's move. Workman had given everything he had, but when the game on the line, he goes for the veteran Vern Fleming.
Big issue in this game, in this quarter, if you're an Orlando fan. You have only scored 8 points up until this time with 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So you've gone 7 minutes with 8 points. Scott. Well, we can't say enough about the foul shooting. You know, we've worked it to death.
Hardaway gets the rebound. Loose ball.
Well, how about that? What hustle by Nick Anderson. They had no chance for that ball. Orlando, that should have been a retrieve of that ball by Indiana. Now just keep an eye on this and watch Nick Anderson hustle. Now once that ball was slapped by Vern Fleming. Now just why he dives right in here now, and picks it up. Terrific play.
Avent, Anderson, Scott, Shaquille O'Neal, and Hardaway. Avent rejected by Smits. Loose ball, Fleming dives for it. Finds a teammate, McKee. Back to Fleming. The lead is 5 with 4:40 to go.
Look for the trailer. Oh! Yes! The Magic are sitting with only 2 timeouts. The old story, sometimes you can't save them. O'Neal. Big play.
That quiets the crowd.
Big play. They went right into the big man. He held his area, and on the move into the lane, he picks up the 3-point play. Just keep an eye. See, they've been pushing him out. Now, that's a good catch because he's in the paint. See, once again,
the pressure is on the foul shooter.
Take a look at Miller's shot again.
This is just a great shot by Reggie.
O'Neal at the line with 4:18 remaining. He gets the three-point play. 88-83. Let's check the lineups. You saw Vern Fleming leave, and Haywood Workman comes back. Hardaway.
See, the next foul by the Magic will be the penalty. Now, they have got to come in here now with some really tough defense in these last 4 minutes.
Smits, turnaround baseline jumper, no.
You gotta get it out. You get it out now. You gotta get it out and look. Quick, big fella's gotta hustle and post up. You gotta get down and low, big fella. There it is.
Rik Smits gets the foul.
See, he cannot right now settle for stopping out at the foul line area because Smits is meeting him with both forearms and holding him up. He's got to fight through that right now and just say, listen, I'm going to get to that low post every chance I can.
Rik Smits heads to the bench. 5 fouls on him. And O'Neal misfires. The lead is 5. Orlando led by as many as 8. And if there was a signature moment in this game, it came with 9:22 remaining, and O'Neal went to the bench with 5 fouls.
All right, we have plenty of time now. Both teams are shooting the penalty on the next one. Here's a steal. 2-on-1. You've got to get the score.
Oh, boy. Antonio Davis with the block. Miller. Dale Davis at the other end with a rebound.
How about that? Dale Davis hustling. Just watch where he comes from to block this. You think you have it, and he sends it home. Once again, when you pass the basketball on defense, you have to give it up.
Dale Davis for 2.
In this game, Indiana Pacers 7 blocks, Orlando 2.
3:15 to go. O'Neal. It won't fall.
A big thing now. Run some time. Take your time. Spread out and make sure that your primetime guys are the people that are going to be taking the shots. We're going for a post-up now. See, once again, that pass was trying to go into a postman who's played on the top side at a bad angle. He tried to feed that from way out past the foul line extended. You're just playing into the hands of the defense and creating a narrow space for your pass.
Orlando has Dennis Scott. Here's Nick Anderson, guarded by Miller. Underneath to O'Neal. He tries to find Krzysztofiak, who wasn't ready for the pass.
Yeah, that was a bullet pass. Krzysztofiak hit him right in the hand, though. Okay, and he got caught with his hands down. You always have to have your hands above your waist when you're down in that area. Reggie wants a clear out. They're coming for the trap.
Antonio Davis.
He might get the game ball, Vern. Wow. Big block and a big shot.
Largest lead of the game for the Indiana Pacers. With 2 minutes and 1 second separating the Pacers from their first series victory ever since they joined the NBA. Indiana Pacers 121 seconds away from victory in the series. And there's a graphic demonstration of their futility over the years.
Yeah, they would always get in and get bumped out. And, you know, many times they did it with very young teams. And then some of the teams that knocked them out were primetime ball clubs, though, okay? And which no one wants to, you know, bring up in the conversations. They all just want to shortchange them. Now, right now, the Magic, 1 timeout, 120. The Pacers with 3. And we told you earlier, both teams are shooting the penalty on the next foul.
Scott and Miller having at each other. Here's O'Neal.
3.
Shot no good. Indiana ball.
kind of surprised that they went to the 3 due to the fact there was 2 minutes on the clock. If they scored a quick 2, you only would have been down 6, and you still had 1 minute and 50-some-odd seconds to go. And you could have gotten a 3 by going down inside and out, possibly a better percentage shot.
Lead is 8. Foul on Hardaway.
Well, this guy, you can't foul this guy. And you always try to tell people the most difficult thing in the NBA is to understand the shot clock, to understand clock management. We're talking coaches and then the players out on the floor. Now, right now, we just had a bad foul because you're sending the best free throw shooter in this building and only the second best in the league to the line. And he misses. And you know what? That was a great foul.
I wondered how high off the floor you jumped.
Oh, no, go on.
Coming up, Seattle and Denver, game 3 from McNichols Arena. Here's Reggie Miller, who has 27 points.
Missed it. How about that? Is that incredible?
What are the odds of Reggie Miller missing 2?
I have to take back my statement and just say that was a great foul. I don't know. I just think it's a bad percentage when the guy is a 92% shooter at playoff time and a 91% shooter during the year. Got a break here now.
For 3, no. That was a wild shot.
Well, they just forced up 2 very difficult threes.
Kenneth Scott had memories of game 2 when he hit a couple of those down the stretch.
Uh-oh. Taking him down.
Careful.
Now just get up. Just get up and go to the line. 1 year ago, Reggie Miller in that New York series, played by John Starks. There's a good strong foul. Who made the second team all-defensive team last year, averaged 11 foul shot attempts per game in that series. While he averaged 31 points.
28 points tonight, and 1 more free throw to come. 1:19 remaining.
Well, he averaged 28 in the first 2 games.
He's got 20 in this half.
He's so difficult to guard, Brian, because he can put it on the floor and take it strong to the basket.
The first double-digit lead of the ball game now. Here's Scott with another wild shot. Workman.
Just run some time, just spread him out.
Foul on Scott. And a standing ovation from this sellout crowd at Market Square Arena.
Well, I thought that Larry Brown made a good point to us today, Vern. He said, this is big for us. It's a unique situation for me. He said, I really love my team. And he said, I love my team. And he says also Donnie Walsh, he said, who was my roommate in college, is the president of this ball club, the Simons, and then also it's an ABA franchise, and I coached in the ABA. It got me my start with the Carolina Cougars in Denver. He said this is very, very big for me.
That's Donnie Walsh, the general manager, sitting with the glasses almost obscured. .1 seconds remaining. Pacers lead by 12. One of the owners, Herb Simons, trying to celebrate. Still not quite sure. There's his brother Mel. Donnie Walsh. Recognize the fellow behind him? Billy Knight.
One of the all-time great players in the Indiana franchise. 6'7" guard out of the University of Pittsburgh. Had a terrific career.
With 9 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, Orlando was up by 6, 78-72. Shaquille O'Neal went to the bench with his 5th foul. Indiana went on a run, and there's a basket attempt by Scott, no good, and a foul on Reggie Miller. And over the next 5 minutes and 45 seconds, an 18-2 Indiana run.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Brandon. They lost their momentum when the Shaq went out. They had some pretty good shots. Nothing happened. When Rollins came in, Smits made a couple of great moves. Rollins gets the technical. That's also, hammered them. And then when they get it down here, 6 points with 2 minutes to go, they have elected to attempt only 3-point shots, which kind of surprises me, knowing that an NBA game is never over. At least that's the way it seems.
Read that. Scott gets it. 96-86 with 41 seconds to go.
Great choice.
Dale Davis, Reggie Miller. Smits.
A little bit of old four corners. Well, you high school and college guys?
Yes.
Well, no four corner action here.
Well, Larry Brown learned that from the guy who knows it well.
Well, Larry Brown was hoping to get a big night out of Derek McKee and Dale Davis and Smith. But Antonio Davis came in here and really did some good things. And then how about the big-time contribution by Vern Fleming, right? Larry says you take Reggie for granted. You just put him in cement, he's going to do it. Right? You just take that for granted.
Nick Anderson launches the long shot. And Nick Anderson fouls Reggie Miller with 18.6 seconds remaining in regulation. Antonio Davis will check back in for the Orlando Magic. First trip to the playoffs, and it's going to be 3 and out. A team that won 50 games this year.
And they had an excellent record, Vern, during the course of the season against teams that were over 500. They were 24-17. And we told you that they were the #1 road attraction attendance-wise in this league. They have an outstanding, just a great future. They have a lot of terrific young players. They have the opportunity to pick up some people as free agents this summer. And then the following year, they start rolling in #1 draft choices. So it's a franchise with a very, very healthy future.
99-86, final 14 seconds remaining. This is an Indiana team that has now won its 11th game in a row. The last 8 in regular season play, 3 in a row in the playoffs. They had the second best record of the NBA over the last 6 weeks of the season, and they are in the second round of the playoffs. Is the final. The Indiana Pacers are in the second round for the first time in the history of the franchise in the NBA. Our Budweiser player of the game, Reggie Miller, 31 points, 4 assists, 2 for 4 from three-point range, 10 of 16 from the field. $1,000 goes to the United Negro College Fund on behalf of Reggie Miller, donated by Budweiser. And it's getting to be a habit.
I wouldn't say that, but it's a long time coming.
It's a nice feeling out there, Reg.
Well, it's been so long. Ever since I've been here, we've always gone out in the first round. Sometimes we've been swept, and I mean, it's finally good to come home and win one in front of our home fans and really get the stage in the uproar.
Yikes.
thought tonight, Reg, your inside guys did a great job, especially in that last quarter. Antonio and Dale. Can you just tell the fans how much they mean to you up front?
Well, the two Davis boys have been doing it for us all year. And for us to be successful in this series, we were going to have a big series from them too, especially going against Shaq. Rick wasn't going to be able to contain them one-on-one, so those guys did a good job of doubling down on Shaq, trying to get him frustrated. And every time we'd take a shot and miss it, they either had a hand on the ball or they were putting it back in. So both of them have been MVPs for us all year.
What about the contribution by your old running mate, Vern Fleming?
Well, you know, he was upset that he couldn't play the remainder of the season when Shaq took him out earlier in the season. So all he wanted to do was come in and scrap. He hasn't been 100% since his knee, and he just came in diving on the floor, getting loose balls and hustling. I think that really got the crowd into it and got us over the hump.
Reggie, was there any sense of frustration for you fellas? It wasn't working smoothly for the longest time.
Well, the first three quarters, you got to give the Magic a lot of credit. They competed, they played hard, their backs were against the wall, and they were loosey-goosey. We just couldn't get over the hump, and we just decided at halftime to try to keep it close like we've been doing in the first two games. And if it was close, someone was going to take it over and try to put some pressure on their shooters, and I think we did a good job of doing that.
Well, it was really terrific for you, Reggie. Congratulations. You and the Pacers.
All right, thank you.
I know it must feel great.
Oh, man, you don't know how frustrating it's been, but now it's so good.
31 points for Reggie Miller. The Indiana Pacers are in the second round of the playoffs. They now wait to see whether it's Atlanta or Miami. The final score, 99-86. Coming up next on TNT, the Sonics go into McNichols to take on the Denver Nuggets. That'll be the next game. If there was a key basket, you just saw it. Reggie Miller from three.